Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is the second, I guess, of my in my apartment, not technically in my apartment videos. This is going to be posted sometime while I'm away after my wedding. So I currently am somewhere gallivanting about. This is a video where I want to discuss what I consider my favorite classic era Byrds record. Now, my favorite Byrds album is Sweetheart of the Rodeo. When I say classic era, I mean the core of the Byrds are the original members. By the time Sweetheart of the Rodeo rolled around in 1968 or 69, there were only two original Byrds left. Obviously, you had Gene Clark on the first two records, then he left full time, and then you had the four guys: Michael Clark, David Crosby, Chris Hillman, and Roger McGuinn, carry on for a few more albums before dispersing in various ways. But I want to talk about this record. This is the album Younger Than Yesterday. It is the Byrds' fourth album, released in February of 1967. I absolutely love this record. This is the record where if somebody were to come up to me and say, I don't know anything about the Byrds, I would take this, hand it to them. Then I would say, just kidding, you can stream it. You can't take my vinyl. This is the album that I would hand to somebody and say, this is where you should start with the Byrds. A lot of people would say, you know, Mr. Tambourine Man or Turn, 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 those two albums, great records, but they are, in my opinion, more, folk centric. You know, you have stuff like, We'll Meet Again on the first album, and stuff like that. So this album really gets you the sense for the individuality of the band members by this point, because on this album you have not only the songwriting talents of Roger McGuinn and David Crosby, but now you have Chris Hillman. Is this Chris right here? Yeah, Chris Hillman right here, doing some really great stuff with his songwriting. You have him on as a songwriter, as a main songwriter on 4 tracks. He's also credited as being a co-writer on others, including "So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star," which is the opening track. This album, to me, though it's short, it's like 29 minutes and 11 seconds. This is what the Byrds sound is. It has everything that you want in a Byrds album, plus, in my opinion, this is really the album where they started fully branching out. Now, I know Fifth Dimension before this had, 8 Miles High, which, was inspired by, Coltrane, what the Africa sessions, Africa. And then you also had Mr. Spaceman, which, was kind of a country thing going on there. But this is the album, I think, that really kind of nailed it. Fifth Dimension, they're kind of tinkering. I think this one nails it. Because, again, you've got So You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, which has this great, powerful chorus with McGuinn kind of singing the lead on that. Kind of about, manufactured bands, especially around this time. The Monkees were becoming a big thing, in 1967. So it really kind of nailed some of that was going on at that time. But what's funny is the Byrds, in their own way, were semi-manufactured as a band as well. So it's kind of tongue-in-cheek. But you have this weird break in the song with this trumpet playing by Hugh Masekela, the South African jazz trumpeter. And, you've got jazz players on this record. You've got country records. You have Cecil Bernard is playing on this record, another South African jazz player. But then you have the country guys. You have Vern Gosdin, who had a career in his own right in the country world. You have Clarence White, who would end up being a full-time member of the Byrds after, Graham Parsons would leave after the Sweetheart of the Rodeo album. So you've got people from all over on this record. You've got the different styles. You've got Chris Hillman with his bluegrass influence coming in and doing songs like Time Between, Have You Seen Her Face, which is kind of this really cool kind of harmony. It's just got a really great tune, harmony sound to it. But then you have Crosby doing his, kind of hippie, kind of, incense burning kind of songs like Everybody's Been Burned, Renaissance Fair. Mind Gardens is really trippy if you like David Crosby. Kind of has this like, Indian kind of raga sound to it. McGuinn was really big into like Indian philosophy and spirituality at this time. He was starting to delve into, like the Moog synthesizer and stuff like that. But then you have like a great pop song that was a single to close the album with the song Why, which also kind of has a kind of avant-garde feel to it at the end. But so many great songs on here. Plus, you have the traditional Byrd kind of, cliche of adding the song My Back Pages, which, according to David Crosby, was kind of when he was really starting to get bugged at Roger McGuinn, from my understanding, because he said, we're better than just covering other people's songs now, Roger. We've done the Dylan thing. We need to move on. It's over for Bob. But then they do, I think their best Dylan cover with My Back Pages, which is how the album gets its title, Younger Than Yesterday. The whole hook, I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. They take away some of the verses, they make it into a 2.5 minute pop song, and it's perfect. When I saw Roger McGuinn and Chris Hillman back in 2018, they opened with that song. It was fantastic to hear that Rickenbacker guitar, and the Rickenbacker guitar is still on this. Once you get into Notorious Byrd Brothers, and then especially Sweetheart of the Rodeo and Post, you lose that jingle jangle sound that kind of solidified the Byrds as one of those top 60s bands. So this is the album that I think really kind of shows the Byrds at their most diverse. It shows the directions that they would go in their later lineup with the country rock world, but it's also that that they're hanging on to that Rickenbacker jingle jangle pop sensibility that they had on those first 3 records. And this one is just, I think it's a fantastic album. Like I said, it's my favorite of the classic Byrds lineup, with my favorite album by the Byrds being Sweetheart of the Rodeo. But if you've never heard this album, please check it out. It's so good. Like I said, it's not going to take you much time. It's 29 minutes. You can get through it in a breeze. By the time you sit down with one side, it's already time to flip the record over. So I highly recommend this album, Younger Than Yesterday by the Byrds from 1967. So let me know what you all think about that record. Let me know your favorite Byrds records. Let me know if this one is not one that sticks with you. I want to have a conversation with you all in the comments. All right, everybody, that does it. In the meantime, y'all be good, take care, and we will see you on the next one. Bye now.